Welcome back to another Street Hockey Life podcast. Today I have Alessandra Glista and Alexis Tarantino from the United Women's Ball Hockey Foundation. And this coming weekend is a big one. It's the Springfest Tournament, which our organization has two teams coming down to play in the C division. So we're pretty excited to be coming down to Tiverton, Rhode Island. But thanks for joining us, ladies.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Carl. We're super excited to be here.
Absolutely. I've had both of you on before, so it's great to talk about UWs and the tournaments. To me, this is one of the biggest women's ball hockey tournaments I think in our country. You guys do a phenomenal job. We went to Oktoberfest last year. I'm sure I'll be buying some more memorabilia, the or apparel, I should say. But whoever wants to start, how many teams do we have going on this weekend?
Alexis, I'll let you take it.
So we have 21 teams across 5 divisions. We have 3 women's divisions, and this will be the second Springfest where we have 2 youth divisions as well.
The youth divisions. Now, is this the Team PA team? These teams? Is that what you're referring to?
Yes, so we have 2 USA Ball Hockey Future Stars programs coming, the U14 and U19. We do have 3 teams for each division, New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania. There is a Massachusetts program, but back in January when we established the divisions, they didn't have coaches, so we weren't sure they would get there in time. So right now we have 3 teams for each division.
Awesome. Awesome. And from the schedule standpoint, it's not they're going off first on Saturday morning, it looks like.
Yes, get them in, get them out. We wanted the kids to start their day while they still had energy and, wouldn't exhaust themselves running around the arcade at Longplex. There's a lot to do. So we figure if we keep them focused on hockey first, then they can bug their parents to go to the arcade and restaurants afterwards.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm looking for, I hope to watch a few of their games while I'm there. Obviously my daughters will be going, so I have to sort of balance my time between rink time and being with them. But Son, how did this all come about with UWs? How did you get involved in this?
Yeah, so UW started in 2015, so almost 10 years old. And it was really kind of a response to a need in our community. Basically, we didn't have a organized women's community for ball hockey players. And everyone's kind of in their own groups and in their own areas and in their own regions. And we really saw the need to kind of bring people together. Everyone is so passionate about the game, especially the women that get involved in the game and then stay throughout their careers. But there's just this passion there. And we kind of saw this lack of opportunity for women in our community. So we wanted to kind of respond to that and create opportunities that were kind of lacking in development. We were really lucky. So we've, as far as me as a player, have had a lot of opportunities and have had a lot of really good coaches over the years, but we kind of saw that not everyone had those same opportunities. And so we thought, hey, this is something that we could actually do, is kind of bring these people together, have them attend skills clinics, get proper training, and learn from elite athletes and elite players that have been playing the game for a long time. So it started that way. And then as time went on, things, again, the game changes and more participation. And I think having a lens of, the women's perspective on the game, because, I mean, let's be honest, like hockey is generally like a men's sport, like kind of a lot of the leagues and tournaments and everything like that were created by men. And sometimes things have to be a little bit different for women. So we kind of have that perspective. And the only reason that UWs exists is because of this community. So without this community, there is no UWs. And that's kind of the cool thing is, we are very open to people contributing their ideas and knowledge and sharing. And yeah, so over the years, it's really evolved. We do mentorship. And last year we had the first global summit where we brought together people from all over the globe to kind of talk about some of the women's issues. And we look to kind of continue that path. So not only creating opportunities for hockey specific, but also creating opportunities now for mentorship, leadership, advocacy, etc. So we're super excited to kind of grow as our community grows and grow as the sport grows.
So other than, with the tournaments, excuse me, not with the tournaments, with the skills the developing of the seminars, which all of it is excellent. I mean, you and I have worked together a little bit with
Yeah.
with Young Legends. How did Springfest actually come about? What's sort of the history behind it?
Yeah, so basically, I had been playing for some time when we first started UW and had gone to some really great events, and we kind of wanted to make it so that we had a women's event in particular. There have been no other, women's only events in the US. And so we were thinking, hey, let's make this a premiere for women. And so we wanted to make the women kind of first in that kind of aspect. And when we first started, we actually had co-ed as well. So it was awesome because we had the support of the guys too. And many of those guys still come to these games down in, Rhode Island and everything. So it's really great to see all these people. But yeah, we had women and co-ed in our first tournaments, but the tournaments actually got so big that we actually had to eliminate co-ed because, again, like we want to get as many women playing as possible. And in the beginning too, we had, the A division, the B division, and then co-ed. And then because we had to eliminate the co-ed, because the teams kept expanding, now we have a novice division, which is a C division, where we give opportunities to basically teams that really haven't come into the tournament scene, because that's really hard. It's kind of hard to go from rec or league hockey to crack into the tournament scene. So we really wanted to give an opportunity to those people that didn't get that experience, because it is so much fun being able to travel and experience hockey at the same time. And so we really wanted to create that the C division for that purpose. And then and then the youth. I mean, there's been an explosion basically of youth. And so, that's the future of our game. So we also wanted to really make sure that the youth also have an opportunity to see these women play. So the first time we tried to create a U16 division, we actually had trouble creating it. And so what we did was we brought a lot of those kids into the B because we couldn't actually fill out the whole division.
Okay.
And we were told by those kids and those parents that that was the first time that all those kids had ever played together with girls, and that all those kids have actually seen women play, because a lot of those kids had played with their, with the boys in the leagues, and so had never actually experienced what could be. So that was really an eye-opening moment too, to, just have us look at the youth programming and and what we were offering as far as UWs go. So we were super happy to have the youth and as Alexis said, 21 teams. And so who knows what the next tournaments will bring in, what 2025 will bring. Hopefully we can expand it to, an adult and maybe possibly a youth weekend. So we'll see what happens.
That would be really cool for sure. And where did Springfest originate? What rink were you guys playing in before Tiverton?
Yeah, so we were actually up in Drake at Casey Cochran, Nikki Cochran. They have been huge supporters from UWs when we were just in our infancy in 2015. And, we started having some skills clinics there, and Casey did a wonderful job of growing the sport there at their rink. And unfortunately, the Drake rink closed a couple of years ago. So it kind of forced us to look for another opportunity. And we were super fortunate to find the Longplex rink in Tiverton. So we're so happy. I mean, it's just a premier facility, with all kinds of sports, but have a restaurant, have arcades. I'm sure it's like the bane, right, of all these tokens and, and all these things that the parents are going to go play hockey and then have to go give their kids some tokens to go play games. But honestly, it's one of the coolest facilities that we'd ever been in. And that was also really important for us to actually have, again, a premier event and a premier facility. We want the best of the best for these women, and we're going to keep seeking those kinds of opportunities out.
Yeah, that's awesome. I can relate to the Tiverton Beach. It's a beautiful place, but the my daughter asked me the other day if I could find the card that goes to what she used when we went to Oktoberfest. I'm like, I have no idea what that is. I don't know if there's points on it. I think you can get a prize there, right? If you score enough points, I think.
I'm betting that you could.
Oh. I'm like, I probably need to go look for that. But and then so now is Alexis now the primary contact person? Are you the one that's doing all of this, Alexis?
Yeah, so Alexis is our awesome tournament director. I mean, UWs is growing tremendously, so we brought Alexis in to handle all the tournaments. So I'll give it to Alexis so she can kind of give the rundown of, everything that she's done for us.
Yeah, it actually just popped up on my Facebook memories a couple days ago, the first Springfest that you walked me through. So Alessandra, Jason, Karen, they, all the founders of UW ran the tournaments for a while, but as Alessandra said, they're growing and expanding into new territory. And it's one of those things that I've been fortunate for them to mentor me so that I can run the tournaments for them and they can focus on other things. So I've been doing it since Springfest 2 years ago with you guys.
Wow.
Yeah. And I also just want to give a shout out to Alexis because she's not going to probably say it, but Alexis got Volunteer of the Year last year by the International Ball Hockey Federation. It's a huge testament to all the work that she's put in, not just with UWs, but also just with ball hockey in general. And I just want to thank her again on the podcast for just being an amazing tournament director and an amazing volunteer. UWs is all volunteer. And so without people like Alexis, I mean, we wouldn't really exist to give these women the opportunities that they have. So I just want to give a shout out to Alexis again, just for receiving that award at the highest level, the international level.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Thanks,
Congratulations, Alexis. I did see that a couple months ago, and I think when you were on the podcast last time, we didn't hit that, Son. So thank you for that.
I don't expect Alexis to say that about herself, but yeah, we're super proud of her and all that she's accomplished, honestly.
Thank you.
Do you guys want to go into a little bit of the marketing of this tournament? Has it taken off over the last couple years? Like even post-COVID, do you feel like Springfest has become even more popular with teams trying to get in and kind of the challenges you guys face with that?
I mean, I can definitely speak to that. So the last couple of years, we've had so much growth in this sport, especially since COVID. I've met a lot of people that say, I picked up a stick during COVID because it was an outdoor sport that I could do instead of, whatever they did indoors. So the women's divisions have been growing, but sometimes traveling to tournaments isn't something that beginners or novice players are really understanding of. This is a lot of fun, come for a weekend of hockey, make some friends, have a good time. So over the last 2 years since I've been running it, the C division has been hit or miss. Sometimes we'll have 3 teams, sometimes we'll have 4 teams. And this year we had 6 teams that wanted to register. Carl, 2 of yours being of the 5 that made it. But we've had a huge explosion of teams, especially this tournament. I mean, Alessandra and I were talking about maybe next year the youth will need their own weekend because there's been so much interest that we've had to wait list 3 or 4 teams, women's teams this year because of, the commitment from youth early on in January and then the later interest in more B and C teams wanting to come in. So the growth has definitely exploded even just since last spring.
Yeah, just a testament to that. I mean, this is the first time we actually had to put people on a wait list, which we never want to do because we're all about opportunity, but we're also limited as far as what we can actually offer. So, we're going to evaluate that too. And I mean, this is a good problem to have, right? Like too many teams and a lot of interest. So, and I think, it's a couple things. I think it's just having it, be run by women and also exclusively a women's event is something that everyone seems to really like as far as, the community and the people that are participating. There's a bunch of really high quality tournaments out there as well. So not to take anything away from that. The competition has grown tremendously across the country as far as like participation at tournaments, but we're just so excited to be able to offer, really high end product basically. And so, it's definitely grown as Alexis said. I think also we had consulted with the NBHL before the NBHL actually started their women's program. And I think the existence of the NBHL too, as far as getting leagues and more people participating in the high quality hockey is also really important, and the marketing of that too, right? So that people understand that this sport exists, first of all, and that it's a really, really great crossover sport too. So we're bringing in athletes, not just from potentially ice hockey, but people that never played ice hockey and want to, play but can't skate. So maybe they come over from soccer players, field hockey players, softball players, etc. So yeah, I think since COVID, I think people have, again, wanting to get outdoors and wanting to play and interact socially too, is just an increase in the sport. So to see that on the tournament end is really exciting too, because again, like the competition level keeps going up. We're getting more people, as Alexis said, into the C division, the novice division, which is really important for us because again, it's about exposure and bringing new people into the sport. Because as you know, some of those players in the C division that kind of are getting a taste of this tournament are now going to be playing in the B division, right? And hopefully they excel to the A division. But it's always fun to play with your friends, and I think that that's the other aspect of like the novice division, because it's really hard to, kind of crack into the tournament scene, like I said.
Great.
And so to be able to do that with your friends is really important to me. I mean, that's why I still play, is because I love the people that I've met over the years and the people that I continue to meet. And I mean, just like you, Carl, like I didn't even know you until a few years ago,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
And it's just like we've known each other forever almost, because we're part of the same culture. It's just a matter of finding those people, and getting together. So I think that that's what tournaments do best, because you're there and kind of committed for a weekend. And so then you get to interact and talk a lot more than you would at maybe like, going to your game and then having to go home kind of thing. So it's a really different environment. If you've never experienced a tournament, like definitely, let us know, because even for Oktoberfest, which will be, coming up pretty soon, we always look for individuals that don't have teams too. So if you don't have a team, reach out to us and Alexis will find a team for you. It doesn't matter the division. We're always, really trying to help fill out teams and find placement for teams, but also for individuals, I should say, but also, also we welcome full teams as well. So.
Absolutely. And Alexis, what kind of marketing? I mean, has this been just like throw the post out there and then everybody just comes to you and say, I want to put a team in? I mean, is that what it at this point with the reputation that you guys have? Is that what it is? Or is there more marketing that goes on?
I mean, we try to announce it and make a Facebook event. There's always teams that are going to be in. You just gotta encourage people to fill out the registration form, right? Like, if I've learned anything from this tournament, it's like fill out the registration form. That has to be the criteria. You can't mention to me 2 months before the tournament that you think you're going to be there or that you really want to be there. We've had a lot of demand. So really, when I talk to people, UW's tournaments are some of the tournaments that people say, this is on my calendar every year. No matter what weekend it is, I'll be there. So that's really encouraging to know that we have a pretty strong following of people that enjoy the tournaments. Like Alessandra said, we never want to waitlist people. We always try to place people, but we try to be really the connection for the people who are coming into the community, who want to find a team or want to get into tournaments, come from NBHL or their home leagues, take the next step. But really the tournament sells itself. To me, it's like sleepaway camp. You go for a weekend and you just have fun with your friends. You talk to people you never would have met from all different areas. And it's just a really good time for women.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I have a memory that I want to share with you guys is that I'd like to do with this for our men's team someday, because if we ever get to go, not necessarily to Fitchburg, but if we ever went to the North Americans, we went to Pennsylvania for a tournament, is the Saturday of Oktoberfest when we were down there. After we played in the morning and we had an afternoon game and then we had the evening. So my sister Candace had rented an Airbnb, and then a bunch of the team came over to the house. We had dinner, and that's the camaraderie piece that everybody kind of talks about, being together as a team and getting to know each other a little better. And um, I think Rhode Island's a little bit closer for us. It makes it a lot. We were able to get more people from our not only our home programs, but Son knows about this group. There's a Haverhill YMCA connection that they come and play in the tournaments in Gloucester, and they've become basically a part of the Young Legends family. And so it was a little bit of a difficult choice bringing both the Predators and Raiders down there, because obviously we'd prefer to have them play in different divisions as these players evolve and get better. And maybe even someday having an A division level. We're not there yet, obviously. Some of them are making tremendous strides, but again, the toughest part for me and Erin over the last couple of weeks has been, okay, we didn't want to separate the teams based on region. Like, okay, these people play in Haverhill, these women play in Gloucester, and let's just keep them separate. We wanted them to feel like they were part of the Young Legends family. And so we merged the two teams to go down there as one cohesive unit. And if we have to play each other, then I'm just going to go and watch the game from the sidelines and not, not
Just
have to
stand in the middle at
stand in the
center
middle
ice.
and
Yeah.
let them enjoy themselves. But and that was the big thing. But again, it's exciting to see the growth for us in our women's division, and it's great to see players wanting to go to Rhode Island, play in UWs. Like I said, you're the brand carries a lot of weight. You guys have done a great job of building it, building that reputation of including everybody. And there's like you had mentioned, Son, there are women that have played field hockey that are trying ball hockey. Not only in our house leagues, but even from our travel program. They've made the jump to floor hockey, and now, or I should say, they've tried floor hockey, and now they're giving ball hockey a try, which is a lot of them I'm trying to prepare them for, or I shouldn't say I, but we are trying to prepare them for the long run of Tiverton. So it should be exciting, but I agree with you guys 100%. It's great to have that camaraderie, have people getting together for some fun. And we always preach to our players that, have some fun when you're out there. We don't get to do this all the time. And if we get laughing San, sorry, Alexis, San knows Miriam Callahan. She'll always say the term when you get beat bad. She's from Peru, so she has an accent. And San, you can hear her saying this, is she always like, I'll take my spanky, meaning a spanking. So if we go down there and get spanked, we'll take it and learn from it. You know what I mean? So I'm sure, San, you can hear her saying that
Of course.
in her voice. But I'm like I said, I'm proud to be going down there with our women's teams, and it should be a good time. And
Yeah,
with
can I just say like a funny story about that too? And this is kind of the story of hockey is that probably about 25 years ago, I was playing roller hockey. I'm dating myself here, but playing roller hockey with Miriam.
Miriam.
So we used to travel and play, roller hockey around the country. And this was before, she had kids and before I had a kid. And yeah, so we, that was like our youth. And the cool thing is last Oktoberfest, I was at the tournament walking around, and then we like lock eyes, and she says, "Is it you?" And I said, "It's me. I can't believe we're seeing each other after 25 years, And she's like, "I just found this sport." And that's the cool thing is that, it's almost like you kind of get to relive like your childhood for like a little weekend and just have like some time like with people that are just so caring and so loving. And like I said, like that's hockey is amazing, but it's also like the community and the people that you meet that just like keep you, involved and keep you here. And again, like who would have known that I would have seen Miriam like at a ball hockey tournament, and she's just so happy and so excited. And again, all the things that you're saying, it's so much running. But again, if you love running, if you love like being an athlete or trying to become an athlete, it's just such a great sport. And yeah, and you don't have to know how to skate. Like I said, like you can just come in and be a part of it, Like some of these, don't get me wrong, I don't know why you guys run after that ball because again, like as you both know, I'm a goalie. I just stand there and it's so much easier. But I mean, it's a wonderful sport, and definitely creates an athlete out of the average person, I would say. So it's been like a really, really amazing road. And as a person that's been there, I would definitely tell your tournament players, yes, maybe you might be a little bit nervous, but take a deep breath and take it all in because as you come to the later stages of your career where I'm kind of headed, I just cherish every single moment that I'm out there, playing and able to be with these amazing women and these amazing leaders, not just in hockey, but they're amazing people outside of hockey. And I think that that's part of also the rewards that you get as far as like, being part of like this community and being an athlete. many of these women are also leaders in their communities, as you know, Alexis is. And we've seen that, you know, throughout some of these projects that we've seen in these local towns, and including you, Carl. Like, you've created a community for people and kind of formalized it more, you know. And I know it's existed for a while, but it's so nice for it to grow and for you to give these opportunities to now, like you said, 2 teams of people. And I do see, like, you know, as it evolves, that some of those women will then start to play in the B, and maybe you'll have like an A and a B and a C team, you know. And that's the cool thing, is like, there's always going to be opportunities to grow. And I think that that's part of the addiction too, is that, you know, you get better and better every game. And I always learn every single time I'm out there, and I've played in a lot of games, and it's never the same, you know. And it's always a really, really great experience. It's hard to kind of put into words what the tournament weekend looks like. So I would even encourage anyone that's curious about it, if you're not doing anything this weekend, come down, you know, take a little weekend. The cool thing about Tiverton is it's right near Newport. And so that's beautiful, you know. Come watch some hockey, come see some sites at Newport. But you'll get a really great sense of just this women's community, kind of like all in this like little weekend, you know. So it's a really, really amazing experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I think some of the credit, Alexis and San, is Erin more than me.
Yeah, for sure.
They
You guys are a team. You guys are a team. So you guys are a duo for sure.
she's the one that they follow the most. She's the one that rallies them up for the tournaments. She's the one that really, like you said, San, Alexis, I'm in a different stage of my career now. Playing NBHL, I turned 40 last year. I have to work extra hard now. I have to to stay in shape, run around with these 20-year-olds. She didn't grow up playing ice hockey. She's a phenomenal athlete. She grew up playing soccer, and I think she had tried lacrosse, but she's really fallen in love with the game.
Mhm.
And you know, when we went down to Nashville with the Raiders, and we played in Ashley Mouzon's tournament out there in that ball hockey boot camp, you know, some of the women had come over to the house that we were staying at, and Ashley was trying to put on this event the night before the tournament, kind of a meet and greet. And obviously, with kids, we couldn't get into town. But like the minute Erin said, "Yeah, we're not going to be able to make it," the team was like, "Well, if the captain's not going, you know, we're not going." She's really the you know, the heart of the team. And for going down with the Predators, I think it's killing her that she can't be on both teams. So we compromised, and we said, "Well, you play on the Predators, and just go on the bench with the Raiders." And so, and it gives her kind of a little bit of the coaching experience as well, to give her some of that experience, because she's at a point where she wants to do everything, which is great. It's really exciting. The women's program in Gloss has really developed because of her. And again, Sana, you know, to piggyback off what you said, though, we are seeing like field hockey players. You know, they're putting together. You can tell a field hockey player by the way they carry their stick. They carry it with their right hand, even if they're left or right-handed, and they're, you know, it's interesting. So it's trying to teach them how to hold the stick a little bit, but they pick it up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see. We're hoping that more people will join our tournament ranks, and like I said, the progression even from Nicole Ferlot, who you know, our goalie she's going to be on the Predators. Nicole has been working really hard, and she's working on her game, trying to get better with her fundamentals and all that. So it's great to see her passion. You know, she's always trying to find more opportunities to play, and like I said, you guys are the ones doing this tournament. It's given them an outlook. And again, I like how it's focused on women. The other tournaments are there's not many where UW just kind of focuses on it. So I did want to ask you guys, can you preview the A division, what that looks like? What I mean, A is always the national players, and kind of go through the teams a little bit and who you guys think. That A division is pretty common. I've got to see him play now a few times. So why don't you guys take over and talk a little bit about that?
Alexis,
San,
you
you
can
can
take
speak.
that on.
I was gonna say you can speak to your team. So Girls Just Want to Have Fun is probably the most local team. They're mostly from Mass, New Hampshire area, I believe. You can correct me, San, but they actually went on a string of like 6 or 7 tournaments in a row, winning every single A division. You know, a couple U.S. national team players, Shannon Taylor, who was an Olympic field hockey player. I mean,
Wow.
just a boatload of talent. Lisa Kilroy always bringing people from ice hockey over to try ball hockey. So they're going to be there this weekend. I created an A team recently, so we're going to be there this weekend.
Cool.
We're
Nice.
kind of like the B plus players. We've had opportunities to play A, but we don't get asked consistently. So we're like, you know what? We want to play A. Let's just do it. So we've entered. The team Alessandra's playing for, Kelly's Colt, a lot of Pittsburgh girls, some of the U21, you know, Team USA players, or now U19, I guess they are. And also a lot of the girls from, you know, Les Rage and Pittsburgh A teams and, you know, past and present national team players. Then the fourth team is, who's the fourth team?
Golden Girls.
Golden Girls.
Yeah.
How could I forget? Our very own CFO, Karen Levin, will be playing for Golden Girls. Lenny Marinelli, again, ice hockey player, ball hockey player. She's been on the U.S. national team for a number of years, both the regular national team and Masters national team. She does a phenomenal job of bringing girls over from ice hockey and getting new people to try the sport. I could actually use some of their advice because all of my ice hockey friends say I'm not running. But Golden Girls also a streak of wins in the last couple of years, and you know, just getting together and leaving it all on the rink. They just enjoy playing together, and they're a really fun group of girls.
Yeah, they're coming off North American Championship, so
Yep.
yeah, they're going to
Oh,
be
wow.
pumped to be there and, you know, continue that streak as well. So it's going to be a really good competition. And as Alexis said, there's always a mix of, you know, current national team players and some of the U21, U19 kids in the mix as well as, you know, we have masters players as well. So it's a really nice mix and yeah, it's super competitive and, you know, a great environment, especially something to kind of like look forward to it, to kind of attain to, especially for those kids coming in for the U14 and U19 kids. It's really good for them to kind of see that level of hockey. So we intentionally wanted to kind of schedule some of the games with the kids games and the A games so that they can kind of see, you know, again, some of those top tier players that will be playing in Switzerland in June. And so it's kind of nice to see those players like play in person because the skill level is just tremendous. You know, it's just grown and grown over the years, and to see it in person is really a different kind of perspective. And then, you know, hopefully they'll some of those kids will be able to watch the live streams of the, you know, them compete internationally as well. So
there will be a live stream this time?
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We have a live stream.
I just wanted to say one more thing about those A teams. So over my time playing for UW's tournaments, you know, I started because my sister was a well-known player. She was able to get me in when I didn't know what I was doing. And Alessandra did a great job of making draft teams to put anyone that wanted to play into a division. So I remember one of my first UW's tournaments on a draft team, there was this kid, Abby Rush, she was probably 12 years old. You know, they put her on my line and she was hitting top corners, scoring goals. And I'm like, I'll go with her all day. So this weekend, she's actually going to be playing on one of those A teams, on Alessandra's team from Pittsburgh. So it's really neat to see the growth of the sport. And over the last 10 years, how someone like me at 22 was learning the sport. Now there's kids that I played with when I was 22 and they were 12, and they're just starting so much younger and they're so much better, so much quicker. And it's really a testament to the programs like yours and all the ones in New Jersey and Pittsburgh that are really dedicated to growing the sport from the youth divisions to really get them up to speed. So when they join women's, they're ready.
Abby Rush is a person we learned about down in Nashville because the beach basically and Abby was playing, and then she got her biggest fan is Erin. Erin was like, this girl is so good, so fat. Like you notice her almost instantly when she's out there because she's so quick, she moves so fluid with the ball, and she had that unbelievable snipe down in at the North Americans from the corner there. That was a beautiful shot. So
Yeah, I
yeah.
was defending her on that.
Oh yeah. Sorry on that. Yeah.
I
Sorry to bring
remember.
that up. Yeah.
I was
But
sitting right behind the goal actually and
I know.
watching that. And
Power
I
play goal.
saw that
Power
go
play
in.
goal.
I was like, oh
Yeah.
my goodness. I mean, yeah, just incredible. It was awesome to see it in person. I'm really happy I was there. But yeah,
Yeah.
incredible.
is there a lot of changing of a teams at the A division? Meaning, do you guys, switch players a lot of time, or like girls just want to have fun with Lisa? Are they pretty much the same team in every tournament that they go to?
I would say for the most part, you usually generally have like your core group of players that go, and represent a team. So definitely girls just want to have fun, have a definite solid core of people that play in their tournaments. I think some of the big things is, again, we're all doing this for fun and sometimes travel it makes it difficult. So for the most part, like I would say we typically see like the same people kind of coming to the Northeast. Like our events are closer to Boston, so we technically kind of see more of the Northeast, New England players, and then when we go down to Philly, maybe some more of like the DC, Philly, New Jersey group of players. But I would say for the core, generally your core is generally the same, for the top A groups, and then a little bit here and there depending on what's happening this year. So usually we have Les Rage comes to our events, but there's a national team camp next week. There was an ice hockey tournament last week, and this is kind of sandwiched in between. So as a result, I'm getting this opportunity to play with the Pittsburgh team, which is kind of like a group of some of those girls and a mix of a few teams. So the cool thing is like there's always kind of an opportunity, and Alexis is doing a really, really good job of also creating this A team for, a solid group. I'm sure that you're trying to do the same thing, Alexis, have like a solid group that plays in the events, but you're always trying to because people can't always attend all the events, you're trying to fill out, your team with other players that can come to that location. So I would say over the years, when the game first started, it was very regional and you never cross lines. It was like Boston, New York, like no one talks, like everyone hates each other. And I feel like since, again, this was like so many years ago when there was only 4 teams. So it was very like cutthroat at tournaments back in the day. Now we have not only, more than 4 teams, but we have like more divisions too, right? So there's like a lot of friends that kind of play like, oh, I might play against you in the A, but I play with you in the B, so that's kind of cool too. But I would say like, everyone wants to play in the A and there's only so many teams and it's hard to get in. And so it's the competition just keeps going up. So it's a good challenge to have, but yeah, I mean, like Alexis said, hopefully we don't have to turn away teams next year and we can have more teams participating in more of the, the divisions. So.
No, so the A division has 4 teams, B has 5, and then C has 5. Am I accurate?
5, 10, 14. Yep, that's right.
What is the B division? I know Mad Hockey is coming back and they're going to B. Are they going in as Mad Hockey? I should be.
Yeah, so B is a little bit more fluid because B can be a level of, depending where you're playing, who's available at the time. Ashley just had a really great tournament down in Nashville, which people enjoy. So sometimes you have to pick and choose. So not every team will come every time, but Beach Babes was waitlisted, unfortunately. Barracudas was waitlisted. Those are 2 teams that have been coming for years. Stanley Cupcakes, they'll be there. Mad Hockey will be there. Long Island, which was actually a lot of the U16 girls that I used to, bring up into women's and B and C for side hustle. Meg Lavery from the Masters team took on, really captaining that team, forming a core unit. And I'm really thankful for that. So they'll be coming. They're the Long Island Misconducts. And then the Flyers, a lot of Mass people. I think that's 5.
We have Silver
Foxes. Coming. That's the team I'm on.
Yeah, that's really fun. It's just so used to be the Red Foxes back in the day and used to compete and really do very, very well. And now they're coming back as the Silver Foxes, maybe because they're just a little bit older. I'm not quite sure if that's the name change reason, but they're going to be super competitive as well. I think you mentioned the Stanley Cupcakes, Mad Hockey, Flyers, and then we have. Is it United, the U19 kids that are playing? I think they're called United, this one.
Yep. So the U19 will be playing in the B as well.
Yeah. So we actually have 6 teams in the B.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, 6 teams in the B for this one.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
And then in the C division, there's 5. Obviously, there's our 2 teams, but who else are they? Local teams?
We can't tell you about the C. because then you'll be scouting about that, Carl.
This is really just a scheme. So
Exactly, guys.
Chelsea.
Exactly.
So
I'm sure my
Chelsea
players
Drake.
will be asking me, Alexis. They'll be
Yeah.
asking me.
Yeah. So you have two teams, and then Chelsea Drake and Gabby Richard have also been entering two teams. Chelsea Drake just had a baby a little bit over a year ago, so
Oh, wow.
she had to take off for Oktoberfest. But in the last 2 years, her and Gabby have been coaching girls in a house league, and they had two teams, a little over a year ago, and they're coming back as well. And even some of their girls have moved up from C to B, even opportunities to play A in a few tournaments that I've seen them at recently. But yeah, Gabby and Chelsea will be bringing two teams, and then Jackie Quigley, who I believe, Lenny and a few other girls know from ice hockey. I don't know if you know her, Alessandra, but she's bringing the Hayes. I think she's also local to Mass.
Yeah, I think they're from the Leominster Fitchburg area, which is really cool.
Okay.
So yeah.
I'm thinking. I don't know the Hayes. I'm trying to think. No, you guys are joking,
I
but
think-
I have tried to find these teams online. I've tried to
Oh.
find if they've been to North America.
You're scouting.
I tried, but I
I
couldn't
think
find
they
anything.
were I think they were the Tomatoes, something Tomatoes before. Someone had mentioned the Tomatoes. Maybe she had played for them or coached them, or maybe that was a team that some of the girls came from in Fitchburg or Leominster. I'm not sure.
Awesome. It's interesting, you guys, from a perspective of coming from our two teams, is that so and you and I kind of talked about this a little bit in Gloucester. Alessandra came to a tournament that we had. It was G400 is what it was called.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it was really cool. The city of Gloucester turned 400 years old last year, so luckily the rink was built, and we had a tournament in kind of in honor of the city. And we had five teams in the women's division, and we had five teams in the men division, and it was great because we had quote unquote out of towners come and show what real ball hockey should look like and be played at a high level. And it was a great experience. But we've talked about this tournament settings and getting into it. And I think from like Erin's perspective, I don't want to speak for her, but I think playing in the NBHL now, going to Tiverton last year in Oktoberfest, going to Nashville, she always tells the women to be prepared for a little bit more physicality, a little bit more obviously speed. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. There's more speed, the skill level is higher. We've been telling our players to go there with the expectation that it's going to be physical, it's going to be aggressive, be prepared to play against, even though you're in C division, be prepared that there are going to be quote unquote B players roaming around. But like I said earlier, it's this idea of getting women to these tournaments in the future. Do you feel like you guys might change the location for a different rink? Has there been any discussions about that?
I think everything's always on the table, because I think you also want to think about barriers that, other people might face because they can't get to, a location or something like that. So I always feel like everything's on the table and we're always open to ideas, etc. So I wouldn't say that we're, limited to just one location or set to just certain divisions. And I always say this to people is, even for, I was talking to someone about youth divisions and, will there ever be like a kid, like a youth division? And I said, if we can get at least 3 teams, we will make it, and I think that that's the beauty of UWs in general.
Yeah.
Is that we have this tremendous ability to be able to create. And, again, we're not a league, we're not like, a certain like governing, kind of entity. We don't, you know what I mean? So we have like this opportunity to really create things, kind of that we see like might be a need for, basically a need in our community. So I would say the same thing is like location, divisions we offer, etc. Like we are so open to anything. And so if we can get 3 teams for a U12, we'll make a U12. If we can get 3 teams for a U8, we'll make a U8, and it's really about creating opportunities, but also like the need, and so we want to hear from people. And that's kind of how we've moved forward, over the years is we hear, what people are asking or, people have suggestions. And I think that that's kind of, the essence of kind of UWs is like, we want to create opportunities. So even if that's maybe not stateside, maybe, we do like an international event, who knows, but I think the essence would be
Hawaii.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, Hawaii would be awesome, so yeah, I think the essence is always there, is that this isn't like a national team type of thing. This isn't, this is for anyone that wants to participate and play ball hockey. And so it doesn't matter the age. We just want to create the opportunities for people. And so, like I said, if there's, if there are people that are like, hey, we can do this, we can bring 3 teams, even to the point where I'd love to see like more Canadian teams come down, and have it really be an experience. So Brian Bromley, he unfortunately passed away a few years ago, but he was tremendous for this sport. He used to run tournaments up in Barrie, Ontario, and they're for men, women, co-ed, etc. But it was just such an amazing experience, and I took a lot of kind of what I saw there, and I tried to bring that into UW's events so that we can experience this like amazing atmosphere that Brian had created. And so, yeah, I mean, I'd love to see, we would go up to Canada and play tournaments, and it was awesome. So I'd love to see and give opportunities too to, any of those Canadian women's teams that want to come down and compete. And, even the kids, like, I mean, how cool would that be to have like U19 and U14 US kids and Canadian kids compete against each other? Because it's only going to make, both of us better, and also just experience the world and culture and etc., like just the differences, and then you make friends, and then you compete against each other, like someplace else, and you're like, oh my gosh, you're here, I haven't seen you in a million years because you live in Canada, like, so it's really cool. I think that whole tournament atmosphere is cool, and I don't know that it has to be limited to just a location. It's not the location that actually makes it, it's the community that actually participates too. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
There was a Canadian team that went to Nashville in February at Ball Hockey Boot Camp's event, and I cannot for the life of me remember their team.
Yeah.
But they look like a legitimate team because they had bags, they had matching uniforms. They just look like they were. So it's just interesting. There are a lot of Canadian travel teams out there. You guys would know this for women.
There used to be, I mean, back in the day, we used to go play up in Barrie, like I said, and a couple outdoor events in like Niagara, etc. But we used to go to a rink in Toronto and play a bit there. But yeah, there's not as much travel. I don't know if it was just like because post-COVID, and it's a little bit harder to cross the border. And also it's, you want to keep it affordable too, and make it kind of like a family type of vacation if you're going to do it right. So I think, in some ways, maybe that might be the limitations, but I think that yeah, it's something to just be looked at too. I mean, we've had talks with some of the Canadian organizations and as UWs, and I think that we want to continue to do that, to see like what we could offer and how we could partner with people in leagues, etc. But I think that's kind of like where the future is heading for UWs, is we definitely want to talk more with more organizations, not just stateside, but in other areas as well, to see what we can provide.
Awesome. I would for some reason I was expecting I would feel like that would be easy sod to get more Canadian teams, but maybe it's not. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know that world. I did want
I
to
think
ask.
it's post-COVID and
Post-
just the amount that they probably have up there as well. I mean, for every one ball hockey player in America, there's probably 75 in Canada. So I think that they might just be pretty well not sourced, but have the resources to not have to travel. Like Alessandra said, if there's tournaments across the country, but there's tournaments right in your backyard, you could play more tournaments if you stay local.
Right.
So I've just noticed we've had a lot more opportunity around here for the last few years, and maybe they're going through the same thing.
Yeah. I have no doubt if there was a Canadian tournament, Erin would be the first one to say, yeah, we're going. You know what I mean? I have no doubt about it.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah, definitely. I did want to ask you guys, is there any restricted list or salary cap for players going back and forth in the divisions? Personally, I don't really think much about it, but I know my teammates our teams are going to be, can you please ask them this? So is there any insight into how that works? I had talked to Jason Kelly a little bit about this, how they adopted the NBHL. I didn't know if you guys had a separate way of going about doing this.
Yeah, I can talk about like more of the high level of that, because we get that question a little bit too, especially now that there is a point system that was recently created for us. Again, like that, we're not like a per se like a tournament organization. We do a lot of things, not just tournaments. And so to govern and give a point system to every single person and keep that up would be a lot of work for us, especially since we're all volunteer. So what we've done and what we had done ever since we started our tournaments is we have an A restricted list. And basically the people on that list have either played on Team USA or elite athletes. And so they have limitations basically on how much they can play and where they can play. So for the C division, which is a division that you're competing in, no A players are allowed to compete in that division. And so you won't be playing against any USA players, which you'll be able to see them play, you know, in the A and the B, but they're restricted from playing in the C division. And again, we just want to balance it out. I think the big thing for us too is we don't want to limit opportunity. We want to make things fair. So we do allow A players, restricted A players to play in the B, but also to keep in mind that a lot of those players, they're so generous with their time, etc. And they're also teachers and kind of coaches while they're playing, which is really awesome. I think to kind of get that leadership and get that voice like real time while you're playing. And so we do allow A players to play in the B division. So yes, we have crossover rules as far as like who can play in what division. Alexis, you can speak more to that, but we definitely maintain that list, and we pretty much make updates either right after a tournament. So we keep eyes on the tournament. If there's, again, we can't see every single player play. So basically we use those tournaments to kind of evaluate if someone has a suggestion like, hey, this person's super good, but they're not on your A list. Then we'll watch them at that event. Also, if you're on the A list and then, again, something that guys don't have to think about, but if you get pregnant and then you're coming back, you know, we might remove you from the A list, or you might have an asterisk if you're coming back from a surgery or things like that, so that you can play B and not be penalized because, you know, you're trying to work back up to your A level. So we maintain that list, kind of look at that right after a tournament and then right before a tournament. And then I would say anytime there's national team tryouts, once someone makes a, you know, national team, they're on that list. So that's kind of where that our A list comes from. Again, we just don't have the capacity to rank every single person, but we also are very open and we say, hey, if you know of someone that should be on this list, like talk to us and you know, we'll try to get eyes on those people. The cool thing is a ton of people that are part of UWs have also been on, you know, the national team level. So they're really good at evaluating people and making good decisions about who should be on that list and maybe who should come off that list to, you know, again, I think we should change the list a little bit. So like when you're over a certain age, you can come off and then play for whoever you want, but that's just me because I'm old. But yeah, I mean, we try to be fair. And I think that that's the biggest thing that's important to us, is just being fair and having integrity. And we're always open to feedback, etc., especially where, you know, ranking of players come in. So we do it a bit differently than, you know, the NBHL does, and a bit differently than Cool Hockey's been doing it.
Sure, absolutely. Thanks for answering that. I know that was a question that I've been asked, how you guys do it. I said I actually don't know.
Yeah.
I have seen the restricted list. I have taken a look at it, and yeah, son, if you ever get, you know, off that list, I'm sure Aaron will be like, you know, you gotta put him on a team somewhere, you know.
Maybe I'll come out and
You know,
run as a player. No, I would never run, so that's never gonna happen. But Alexis, you can talk a little bit about the crossover rule, because that actually impacts, you know, the divisions.
So the actual number limits are, you know, if you're playing in a weekend, like this weekend, if you're playing the B division, a C team can only have 3 people that are playing on a B team that same weekend on their C team. A B team can only have 5 people that are playing A division only 2 of those can be, from the A restricted list. So like San's on the A restricted list. If I were on the A restricted list, you could have 2 of us, and then anyone who's playing A that weekend that is not on the A restricted list. So the nice part about that is, like we said, the opportunity is really what's most important. So we have girls that will play C and A in different weekends. Oktoberfest, I might need someone for an A team, where Springfest, I might not. Well, that person might still get asked to play on a C team, and they're not penalized via a point system to no longer be able to play C if their salary cap is going to be too high because of adding that person, or they're restricted because they have tried A. So it's really encouraging because these A players like Lenny that are really good about bringing people up. A lot of the A captains are, but if they need someone and are shorthanded a weekend, they might see someone this weekend playing in a B or C division that they might say, wow, they're really fast, or they've got really good hands, or something like that. And they might get an opportunity to play come Oktoberfest if one of those captains is short. So the restricted list is really just to keep it fair so that you don't have a whole line of A players dominating a B division and you can just throw them out for the last 5 minutes of the game to win a tournament. But it does give you some flexibility to say, this Masters player is still really good, but I'm not going to rank her because, she would be a really good teacher on a B or a C team, or really would be that person to bring people together on the bench. So it's really a good aspect to think about growing the game, and not just saying, well, you're an A player, so you can only play A, and you're a C player, so you can only play C.
Right. Right.
Yeah. And there's a lot of work too. I mean, like as a tournament director, so that's a lot of work to just Alexis is looking at all the rosters and making sure that, they're abiding by the rules as well. So that's why it's important, like again, the behind the scenes that no one really talks about as far as running tournaments and running events is we want to make it fair. And so that's why we ask for your rosters ahead of time to make sure that, people are abiding by the rules, and, we have the most level competition that we can have. Like, you don't want people to, kind of get blown out of games. You want them to compete, and so that's really important to us. And that's why we're always trying to communicate with the teams like, hey, this happened, so what do you think of this? And I know that happened for you guys too when you guys first started, because we didn't have that C division, unfortunately. So we had to have a conversation and say, hey, what do you guys think? And now we have the C, right? And so it's kind of like the perfect spot to kind of come into these events. But we try to be as fair as we can. We really look at the rosters to make sure, like, hey, on this C team, like, this person's super good. Like, we can't, there's limitations as far as like what we will allow. But the same thing with the youth, like we heard feedback basically, a few tournaments ago about having the kids play in the novice division, and especially the future stars kids, because those kids had to try out to make those teams. And so they're the top tier of, their age group, and to put them into a C division where you have like a mix of players that are kind of coming into the sport, later, learning about how to, like you said, there's just such a difference between league play to kind of like formal play and then like tournament play, right? Like, you have like this gamut, and you want to be able to kind of get in there and progress, and so it's hard to learn when the scales are really tipped, right? Like, you don't want to be overwhelmed. You want to enjoy yourself and compete. And so, like you said, like, even, when you're coming into a tournament, it's the next level up, no matter what the division is, like you can play like in the NBHL and, play in like that top tier. But then when you go to a tournament, it's like, yes, we're friends. But then when we come on the rink, everyone kind of forgets that for a bit. You know what I mean? And you're just, I don't know how Alexis, you're the same way, right? Like, we all want to compete and we all want to win, and, safely, of course. But it's just like the next level up, right? And so these events don't happen all the time, and you want to come out and you want to, perform to the best of your ability. So
I agree with that. I mean, again, I think you guys do a phenomenal job. Really, I have no complaints. We always go with the mindset that we're going to go there, we're going to do the best we can, we're going to do maximum effort. That's most important. And of course, have fun along the way. And I think for us playing in that competition, I don't want the women, because I know some of our team will listen and watch this. And then this is not an insult. It's not an attack on them. It's that I never expected to be there last year anyway. I mean, when I first saw our women take the rink, it was, you know, it was in June of 2023. It was just pickup. I never expected that in that same year there'd be a group of women going to Tiverton playing against women who've been playing this game all their lives. I would have never expected it. And I was proud that they were able to do it. I was proud that we were able to field a team. And, you know, yesterday with the Chipmunks, by the way, the Chipmunks are my most intimidating group. They're just, it's just corralling them all the time on the surface. Luckily, we've got great parents helping. And this Chipmunk division is very competitive. There's a lot of buddies, and they're ready to check each other. They're sliding across the surface. And one of the dads I went to school with, and we were talking briefly before the practice, and he was saying, he's like, there's not a lot of activities like this for my kid who's 4 years old. And we got talking about it. I said, you know, if he sticks with it, he's going to be so much better than I ever will be. You know, because I think coming from an ice hockey background, it is different. It is different. The game is different. Learning to push the ball in front of you is a little bit challenging. I revert back to my old ice hockey power pushes, and I was telling him, I'm like, if he sticks with it, there's a tremendous amount of opportunity that he'll have ahead of him. So, and in our area, Son, Alexis, I mean, you guys have played at high levels. A lot of people don't know about the U.S. national teams. They don't know about the world championships that the ISBHF does. And Alexis, this story kind of will embarrass Son a little bit. I mean, my dad calls her the Hall of Famer when she's at the rink. You know what I mean?
Aw.
Yeah, she's the most humble person out there, and I'm always like, yeah, that woman, you like you said, Son, you're getting second part of your career here, but you're still good. You know what I mean? And it's like I said, I think like a Nicole Ferlotta, like I said, I think she's trying to emulate you and try to get to that level where she's trying to improve her game. And that's what I love most about our two teams going down is their passion. I think they would have liked to have practiced more a little bit, but weather wasn't kind to us over the last couple of weeks. And like I said, I'll be proud of them regardless. So thanks for all that you guys do, really.
Yeah. I can't thank you enough, Carl. And I love your story of I have to say that there's something to be said there about your story and your program, and especially specifically about the women, because I think it is something that nothing is impossible to those women. You know what I mean? And to be able to say, like, they stepped on the rink in June, they competed in a tournament in October. I mean, if you ever said that, like, and to talk about that level, so much so that I know that, a few of your players went to a national team tryout, like, I mean, just to get this gamut of like, we've never played organized and now we're stepping on the rink to some of us are going to a national team tryout. And I think that that's like this gamut of like opportunity that happens so quickly in our sport and how these doors open. But it is the perseverance of these women and the leadership of these women that are incredible. And I think that I'm so happy that you and Erin provided the opportunity for them to do that, because you are open-minded and, again, you believed in it and Erin believed in it and you guys worked so hard. And never in your wildest dreams, I think that you would think that you could say that, right?
Never.
And I just hope that people listen to this and kind of realize that there are women out there that will do the same thing in different areas. And it's just about, providing that little spark and that little place to start. And then you don't know what those possibilities are because it's never been done before. And I know it's hard to kind of imagine sometimes because, again, people can only speak on their experiences and it might be very, very different than, what they know. But I would just say, like, the possibilities are endless. And it's just amazing to watch that kind of transformation. And now look at you guys have a formal league. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I'm so proud of everything that you guys have done. And I'm so grateful that you guys have created opportunity for women and also your openness to always ask questions of the women. You know what I mean? Like, you're not just putting things out there, you're asking them, like, what would you want? And they're telling you. And it's such a beautiful thing to see how that's evolved over the last not even year. So I can't wait to see, like, when we say happy birthday to you guys, as far as like your women's organization goes, like where you guys will be. It's just incredible.
it's really insane because one of our board of directors, we were at hockey night, excuse me, we were at NBHL in Boston last year playing. Stribe had and Corey had asked us to if we could put a North Shore team in, so we put the North Shore Assassins in, and I told my brother, I said, Dan, I'm not going to make it because we played on Tuesday nights. I'm like, I'm not going to make it next week. You're going to have to run the team because I'll be in Gloucester getting the women's group off and running. And it was so organic the way it came together. And I actually want to say credit to Mad Hockey. They're doing it now. Looks like South Coast is doing it where they're having this women's night. It was so organic where we did a couple of women were like, what is this league going to look like? And we're like, well, it's just going to start off as pickup, and then all of a sudden there's two teams, there's rivalries, they get shirts, next season they're playing in the fall, they got a trophy, now you're under four teams with a draft, and there's a lot of like, I don't want to say manipulation, that's not the word, but it's like strategizing on who's going where, how can I get this player type of thing. And it's been really enjoyable for me. But that board of director, he was right. The women's division, he told me, would be the biggest division we have. And now we have 67 women, which, like I said, and we're starting to see more women from the North Shore. And Alexis son will know these towns like Beverly, Danvers, Haverhill, of course. There are women that are starting. Gloucester's kind of tucked back there, Alexis. If you ever get here, it's tucked way up in the northeast.
It's really beautiful, but it is kind of like
when I get there.
When you get there,
exactly.
yeah, it's
beautiful.
a special place, but it's difficult to get to, and for some reason, Massachusetts people don't like driving. I don't know why. Maybe because there's so much traffic at times, but like I said, the credit is really to them. The women, they talk a lot of Facebook posts, but it's nice to see like South Coast getting in the mix of this, having a women's night. I know Ashley Fadula in Mad Hockey. Ashley's going to be playing on one of our teams in the C division, and like I said, it's great to see the game growing. I mean, the one thing about women too is we do a lot of skill developments, and you've done a lot with us at Alessandra. They are so much more willing to learn, which is great. So I'm excited to see where it goes. More than anything, excited to see.
We're super excited to have you guys this weekend, so we can't wait to see you too.
So
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, wrapping up. Anything we should be looking forward to? Any new merchandise, things that you guys want to promote? Always, right?
Oh yeah, we definitely have a bunch of merch. Come say hi to us at the table for sure. If you have ideas of women's ball hockey, come say hi, come share those ideas. We're always looking for ideas and opportunities, etc. And if this weekend doesn't work and you're not going to be there this weekend, reach out to us for sure. We have a website, you can reach out there. We have social media on Facebook. I think all the social medias. But yeah, we want to hear from you guys. Especially if you want clinics, if you want, more events, if you want more learnings. I mean, like I said, this is the beauty of UWs, is like we can create. And so we want to hear what people want, and yeah, just sharing this amazing community. So super grateful to you guys, especially. But yeah, come say hi to us at the table. And if you're not there at the event, definitely message us on social media or our website.
Will the live stream be on the UW's Facebook page, or is it going to be a separate site?
Should be Facebook.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay. Good deal. Good deal.
We will post for sure, to let everybody know and confirm, but our idea is to use Facebook to stream.
Yeah.
Awesome. It's great when you guys do that, because then I can steal game film for future reference.
Yes, all your recruiting and all your strategizing, etc.
I won't have to hear
You can talk to my husband about that.
George, for sure. Yeah, I got to talk to George about some strategies too. At some
Big
point
video
offline.
guy.
But like I said, like a lot of these women ask, like they've asked me and Erin, they're like, "Do you know any of these teams?" The answer is no. I tried to find these teams, and like I said, North Americans is usually, they have a big database of information that I can go and watch, and that's what's special about the game too, is like you don't mind watching it, trying to study what you do wrong. So I know our players will enjoy it for sure. So, but thank you guys. Any last thoughts? Anything else, Alexis?
Come say hi. We love talking to people. It's the most fun part of our day running that tournament. It's just to talk to people. If it's your first time, come ask us questions about how we run things and why do we do things. We like to tell people about ball hockey.
We do. Will there be gear on site? Is it Napper now, or is it still Hagen stuff coming up?
Yeah, so Hagen and Napper are actually now Napper USA.
Yep.
Hagen and Napper are working together. So George will be there with his booth again. So
Awesome.
he'll be there all weekend.
Yeah, the cool thing is again, like getting to try on some of this gear in person, and not many times, do people get to do that. So we're trying to like kind of give that whole experience of, experiencing the gear in person. And we really want to thank Napper USA too, and they're a sponsor for the event. So if you end up
Oh, wow.
winning, you end up getting some awesome Napper gear. So yeah, we're super thankful to have them as a partner.
That's cool. Good
Yeah.
old Napper, huh? That's
Mhm.
awesome. Well, thank you guys as always. I look forward to seeing you in person this weekend. And oh, the best way to connect with you guys, I forgot. If they
Yeah,
can't
you
in
can
person,
email
sorry about
us at info@uwbhf.org. That's probably the easiest way, but you can always, go on our Facebook page and message through Facebook as well.
that. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. Like I said, reach out to these individuals. They have a boatload of knowledge, and the tournament is pretty cool. Tiverton's a great place to go. There's a restaurant on site, the arcade. I know I'll be there in between games with the girls. I know they're already uh, planning on that. So thanks, Alexis and Alessandra Glista today. I appreciate your time. Next time on the Street Hockey Life, I'm changing up a little bit. We're bringing in, ladies, you know her, Miss Terry Milby. She's a little nervous,
Ooh.
but Terry is the photographer of all, seems like all ball hockey. So Terry's going to be coming on, and we'll have a chat on what she does for the game and all the things she does that actually help promote it. So until next time, everybody, have a great day, and good luck to all the teams this weekend. Take care.